What did you mute me?
I muted myself so that we could hear you better.
Okay, sorry. Listen, I ain't got nothing to hide, Cassie. You should have called me, okay? And we could have discussed some of this stuff.
I don't know you, but I also I'm giving a
You
platform.
don't know. Listen.
Okay, you're done. When I can speak, let me know.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm done.
I don't know you. All I am doing is giving a platform for other people, not just your ex-wife, to speak out on what they know about you.
My
ex-wife. Again, let me know when you're done.
Well, okay. Go ahead.
I'm giving a platform to your ex-wife and others who want to speak out about what you've done or not done. I'm giving them a platform to speak. If that is upsetting to you, I am sorry. I really am. I truly am. But it's not my doing. And if you don't like what I'm putting out there as a voice for these people, then you have all right to defend yourself on your platform. You're here on my platform to defend yourself. You can show whatever receipts you have. You can do whatever you want to do to defend yourself. That is perfectly fine and completely acceptable. And I wouldn't blame you if you did. I don't. I have nothing against you personally. I am giving a voice to anybody and everybody that wants a voice on my platform, and I be respectful to all. And I've been respectful to you, and I've been respectful to your wife. I have been respectful to anybody who has come on my platform and want to have a voice.
Well, you could have reached out to me.
I don't know you.
Well, you don't know my wife either.
But if you had come to me with info and wanted me to use my platform,
why are you doing this? All I did was
I'll respond when you.
Listen, all I did was share information and show a relationship with JP. Why is my wife trying to destroy that?
You'll have to discuss that with her.
Discredit what happened at the church.
You'll have to discuss that with her as well as
I don't
several
speak to her, and I don't want to speak to her. From me with her boyfriend that coughed up $50,000 to fight me in court. After knowing the guy for 7 months, she gets $50,000 to fight me in court. That's pretty neat. I don't have to prove anything.
Well, that's perfectly fine, but neither do they.
You think that's okay? That's why you're listening to a conversation that I'm sharing and pissed off because my wife is telling me all this bullshit. You don't know what caused me to get angry.
There's no excuse for that behavior.
Well, it's okay. So it's okay for. Listen,
if you have proof, you can put that out.
Violence, but it's not okay for females to sit there and degrade their husbands either.
Well, you're more than welcome to put that out there on your own.
I'm not going to put it out there because I'm not that low.
Okay.
I don't need that. I don't need to tarnish it.
Like I said, I give a voice to anybody who wants to have that voice, and I'm going to be able to do that.
I'm telling you, I would. Even though this is out there, I'm not going to try to take it out.
Well, period. That's commendable.
I don't have to. Okay. I know what the truth is, and I know what God knows. Okay. I'm not going to miss her name or her kids or anything about that. Listen, it was a failed marriage, and at that conversation that you're listening to, on those conversations of me being upset like that, it was already failed marriage. Okay. There was a lot of things that led to that. Yeah. Choice words. I mean, when somebody pushes your buttons to the point where they break you mentally, yeah, I was upset in that conversation that you're listening to. There's no doubt about it. And I was hurting. But that's as far as it went. And I know abuse is in many different forms. But it kind of went.
Well, all I can do is give a voice and a platform to people who may be not ready to come out on their own, and that's what I've done. And
listen, I think that's great. I'm not knocking that, and I think what you do is great. But I'm not going to sit here and pull up the trash on my wife that I can to counter she's throwing at you. But I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, I never asked you to.
And I'm not going to do that.
This did not come directly only from your ex-wife. It also, Micah's family is involved in this as well. So I will give them a voice. And you have every right to defend yourself on my platform. Okay.
I don't know what you mean about Micah's family.
I think you do.
No, I don't. Not really.
Okay. Well, that's fine. But I'm giving a voice to several people who know of your past, and I will give them a voice, and I will share whatever it is that they want me to share. And you have every right to defend yourself on my platform and your own. If you choose to not do that, that's your own choice.
I'm not going to air out my trash or bring up bullshit that's got nothing to do with what's going on right now. So do what you need to do. I'm a big boy. I don't need to, I don't need to try to defend myself. I got plenty of people that would tell you otherwise of what really happened in any situation. So be it. If you feel good about it, you feel good about what you're doing.
I feel great about it. I'm going to give a voice to anybody and everybody who wants to speak out on anybody and everybody that may have done something in their life, and anybody and everybody who is connected with Micah of course I am. I feel great about myself.
Okay,
I am super, can I finish? I am super proud of myself, to be quite honest with you. Very, very proud. And I can probably tell you that 447 people watching this live right now are proud of me as well.
Well,
so
you can but you're beating up the wrong guy.
Baby, I ain't beat you up. All I'm doing is sharing what's been given to me.
No, you think it's okay to spread the evil. That's what
if spreading other people's stories and giving them a voice is wrong, that's your opinion. You're entitled to it.
You're spreading evil without the facts, so you're just as bad as an abuser.
Okay.
You're just
wow. What accusations, Thomas? Wow. Did everybody hear that? Why don't you say that again for everybody in the back that might not have heard you?
You're just as bad as an abuser. You think it's okay to trash up on somebody that you have no facts on?
I haven't said one negative word about you.
You haven't.
Nope. And if you got proof of that, you can show me. I'll wait.
Listen, I'm not going to fall for your little trap and put stuff out there.
Trap? You said it. I didn't. I'm giving you the opportunity to prove it.
I'm not doing it. I'm not going to play your game. But I just wanted to respond to you. I think it's I think what you're doing, you should at least talk to me before you did it. Get both sides.
I'm giving you a side right now. You're on my platform with 471 people that you're talking in front of. I am giving you your platform. I am giving your moment.
Platform, ratings and all your little gifts that you're getting. Okay, I'm not looking for that. You could have called me personally. Could have messaged me personally.
I haven't gotten one gift during this live.
Whatever. I don't care. Whatever you think you're getting out of it, you're taking the focus off.
My entire life does not revolve around only Micah. Thank you.
Okay.
I'm also giving a platform to anybody and everybody who might have been a survivor of DV. So it's not only about Micah. My life and my platform is not only about Micah.
Okay, well, keep on posting what you got. I'll sit here and watch, and then maybe I might reply. Share your info. How about it? Whatever you think you need to do.
If anybody has comments or questions that you want to ask Thomas, go right ahead. Ask him the thing. Since he's here.
It's kind of
up there. All right.
Yeah. Type in the, I don't know why.
Lots of people have questions for you in the comments if you'd like to answer them.
I can't. Ask me.
Okay, Thomas, I have questions. Why have you conveniently got on every creator's lives every night, yet conveniently left out your own past? And this isn't just about Micah. Micah's legacy is one of being a DV victim. Yet you conveniently leave out your own past.
What does my past have to do with anything about Micah? I'm trying to talk about the church. That's all I'm sharing.
Your past is one
So you guys
of being
don't want,
a DV.
So you don't want to know what's happening at the church because I can shut up. I'm not stupid, but my name's on my profile. I know that you guys are probably going to go look.
You have to allow people to finish what they're saying, Thomas. You need to let what they're saying.
But I need
Thomas,
to say that.
Let
all right, Thomas,
do you care about what happened in that church?
Let people finish what they're
Thomas,
saying.
if you talk over somebody, we don't understand anything you're saying because it echoes. You have to wait and let someone finish talking before you start, or we can't understand you.
Okay. So let's talk.
You have come out against JP and him being an abuser and all this JP's done, and you conveniently left out your entire past.
Do you have facts of what I did? Do you have?
We just heard you.
What do you mean you just heard me?
That is your voice. We all just heard you.
Listen, that was at the end of the relationship, failed marriage. We were both at each other's throats, and she was pushing every button in that when that happened. And I responded negatively. Yes, I did, and I own that. I own the words that I said, but I also have recordings of my wife talking to me that way. But I'm not going to put it out here and air it out on frickin' TikTok.
If you want to defend yourself and your actions,
I didn't domestically abuse my wife that we're talking about right now. Yes, I
just heard was domestic abuse.
I use foul language.
That's abuse.
Okay, so her yelling and saying those types of words to me is not abuse?
If I heard her saying it, I'd be saying the same thing to her. That is abuse.
Well, listen, then you don't have your facts because that's what was going on. Just because she's calm in that recording, she set me up and did the recording. She pushed my buttons and then pushed the record button.
And you're a grown man.
That's right. I am. And I
so
use foul
that
language,
woman was able to push your buttons.
I'm not proud of it. I'm not proud of it.
That's the first time I've heard you even admit that you did it.
Did what? I use foul language?
That is abuse.
No shit. And so is it the other way.
Okay,
So
Thomas.
hopefully when the law gets passed, that men have rights too.
Men do have
I don't
rights.
care who it is. It's abuse.
Listen, you're only hearing one side. If I sent Cassie stuff and she aired that first, then you would be pissed that my wife was yelling and swearing at me, right?
We would be pissed at whoever's yelling and swearing at the other one. It is abuse.
Okay, well
And
that's
if
what I'm
you
saying.
sent
So
those to
why are you
Cassie,
third degreeing me that she pushed the buttons and then goes and gets and records the conversation after
Because-
she already pissed me off?
because that's an excuse. You're using
it's
that
not
as
an
an
excuse. That's
for
what
your
happened.
behavior.
That's what happened.
Guys, can we
not yell.
not yell at each other,
Yeah,
please?
let's
I
not
mean,
yell.
if we want to
Well,
ask questions,
okay,
hang on, Thomas.
I'm-
Thomas, let me finish what I'm saying. I
Okay.
just think if we want to come up on the platform and ask questions,
Okay.
we need to do it in a quiet, civil way. Give Thomas
sounds
the
good.
opportunity to speak. Nobody yell at each other because we're not doing anything different than what we
You're
heard
right.
on the recording.
And we're totally
You're right.
off focus of what this is all about. Listen,
You're absolutely right.
listen, I'm
Thomas,
on here sharing.
Stop telling me what my platform is about. Do not tell me what my live.
I'm not trying to tell you what your platform
This is about you.
I'm not trying to
Right.
tell you what your platform. But listen, you got me on here because I shared information that I have firsthand knowledge of what happened at the church. Okay, so you want to beat me up for it?
I haven't said one negative word about
I
you.
mean, what do you want me to do? I could have stayed right out of this. I knew all this shit may come out, but I cared
Thomas?
about Micah, and I
Thomas?
cared about and what was going on in that church is way worse than I ever thought of being.
Well, let's
You
talk
need
about
to
that, Thomas.
listen.
You went on
You
Ethan's
need
live.
to listen and just quiet for a minute and let's take turns. What we have seen are public records of you being abusive to more people, but yet you want to stand up and talk about the bad things of the church. We all understand you worked there. You didn't get paid for it. You should have taken that up with them at that time instead of coming about now making that your priority. The priority here,
I did bring it up then. I did bring it up when it was
Please,
happening.
Thomas, let her finish.
I thought she was.
the priority here is that we are going to give anyone a place to state the issue at hand. The issue at hand is you. It was brought here to make a public forum of what you have done, but yet you want to stand up and scream justice for Micah? Have you ever once even said, yes, I have been there, I have done that to people, and it was wrong, but I'm changed, or whatever? But no, you didn't do that. Could we just get that from you just one time, admitting that these are public records? It's the truth. Nobody just makes things up like that in the court of law.
I don't know what you're asking me to tell you. I mean, I have experienced things in my past, and I paid for those past, and I accepted things that were allegedly stated against me and paid for those. Because, you know, when you're looking at 15 years, if you happen to lose, it's better just to plead out and get it to go away.
Can you clarify what it is that you paid for?
What did I pay for?
You said that you have things in your past that you've paid for. Can you clarify?
Well, I don't know what you're asking me.
Oh, you don't know what I'm asking?
No.
So you said that you have a past and that you have owned those things. Well, what is that specifically then?
I paid the price. I don't own it. I paid the price for things that happened in my past. I don't. Do I own some of it? Well, yeah, because I'm involved in the statements and what, you know, some allegedly made comments or something like that. But actual physical violence, that shit didn't happen.
So what is it that you paid for then?
maybe saying things that I probably shouldn't have said. But it goes deeper than that. Okay.
So then what is it specifically that you're talking about that's from your past that you have owned? So I'm not understanding.
Well, you
Did you
just aired it online. It's
Let me finish, please. Let me
domestic
finish, please.
violence.
Let me
You know,
finish, please. Let me finish, please. Let
it's
me finish,
domestic
please. Let me
relationship
finish, please.
stuff. You've already
Let me
aired it
finish,
on there.
please. Can I finish, please?
Well,
So
we're having a problem with the sound. I'm sorry.
it's
I
okay.
can't hear
It's
you.
fine. What is it specifically that you are owning?
I'm owning my past, and I paid for my
What
past.
in your
It's over
past?
20-something years ago.
What in your past are you owning?
Well, you want to know something? I mean, I'm not really sure what you're asking me. I own what you're talking about. I paid the price.
What is it specifically that you're owning?
I'm owning that I have a record.
A record for?
Domestic violence.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I have a question, Thomas. May I speak for a moment?
Sure.
Okay, when you first came on TikTok, you were in a live with Ethan and Kyler. I was in that live and listened to you say that you were made aware as the head usher. I believe that was your title at the time, the head usher of the church. All of you were made aware of JP's SA with minors, and you were given an opportunity to go into a room with him and express your feelings with him independently. I'd like a little bit more detail on that, being you were an adult made aware of minors being sexually abused and nobody stepped forward for these children, but you were made aware of it. And I asked that in Ethan's live, but was shut down and told that you were a victim.
Sexual abuse with minors wasn't mentioned at that time.
Thomas, you have to let people finish talking.
I thought she was.
It was mentioned. I was there. It was mentioned. You stated it yourself that you were made aware that of JP's sexual abuse to the children. In that live, it was one of the very first lives you ever came on, and this is one for me. I said, wait, there's something wrong here. This gentleman's owning publicly to all of us that these church members were all made aware that JP was abusing children. And I'd like further explanation of what words you were allowed to have with him. You said you were allowed to go in the room with him yourself, and you stated, if I can remember correctly, you said, oh, he didn't like what I had to say. You were proud of what you said to him, but I'd just like to know why it never went further than that.
Well, at that time, I don't think that we're talking about sexual abuse with children. We were talking about the incident that happened at the church. That's what we went in there and talked to him about.
What incident specifically?
Him messing around with Micah in the church.
No, you were talking about children in the church.
I don't recall that.
Exactly, and no one else on social media has brought this up since this occurred.
I don't recall that. If you're talking about the day of everything falling apart, there, we didn't go into his office and talk about sexual assault with children.
So then, Claire, maybe I'm the only person on social media that heard that differently. Then, what did you speak to JP about in that meeting that you had with him?
We spoke about how he could betray his best friend and have sexual contact with Micah in the church. That's what we talked about.
No, I asked in the live. I said, you knew about the abuse and no one spoke up. And then Kyler at the time spoke up and said, well, he was brainwashed by JP. Everybody's afraid to come forward about these children being abused. It was about children being abused.
Not that day, it wasn't.
You don't even know how many times.
We didn't talk about sexual children being abused that day. I'm
how
telling
many
you.
how many times have you?
It may have been brought up later in the conversation about him sexually abusing children, but it wasn't. That's not what I went in there and talked to him about.
Okay, so I'm asking you, person to person now. Were you aware, and were other church members aware that there were children being abused in that church?
Not at that point, no.
At what point were you?
That right after that.
And why didn't you speak up?
What do you mean why? I left the church. What do you mean why didn't I speak up? I did speak up. I said my piece to him and then left the church. And everybody else.
Your piece from what you've made public and from what others have made public, no one's mentioning that these children were being abused by this man. Until it comes up from victims that are afraid to come forward.
What children are you talking about?
Again, you admitted in that live, you and other ushers, other church people involved in the church were made aware that JP was abusing children in the church sexually.
That was after the fact.
After the fact, it doesn't matter when it happened, Thomas. The point is you knew that it was happening and no one came forward for their children. This is the point. I've been screaming this on almost every platform I can. We're listening to you.
At that point,
again, I'm still speaking. Let me finish. You're screaming no domestic violence, justice for Micah, yes, this, that. If you had stopped JP when you knew he was abusing children, no one else would have been through this with him. So again, my question to clarify is, my one question is, you admit that you knew he was abusing children. Why did no one come forward?
Could you guys hold on 1 second, please? Can we do SA instead of saying the full thing, please? Thank you.
I'm confused on the timing here. I mean, because that day that this was brought aware, we went in there and talked about his sexual contact with Micah at the church, and that's that's basically there was he spoke and preached sermons about his sexual deviant ways. I knew about that. But after that incident, that's when I was made aware of, and his wife was really the one that was sharing that stuff.
And you didn't think to question if
I wasn't involved after that with the church.
Why didn't somebody report this to the police? I mean, it just...
She did report this stuff.
Why wasn't anything done?
That's besides me. I don't know.
Was he in bed with the police then, like he is now?
He had state troopers working there at the church. He had state troopers, the whole time I was involved with the church.
Wow.
So but there was, I thought there were some odd things happening in Forest Brook Road. There was young girls there that were struggling with paying rent and stuff like that, and JP was awfully friendly with them. In that sense, I didn't know at the time that something was going on.
Let me ask you a question. Do you believe that there is SMEX trafficking going on there?
Listen, I would not put it past that thought.
And do you think that is like within the United States? Like, is it that type of stuff going on, like throughout the United States?
No, we're talking over in Africa.
Sending people from here to Africa?
Probably. Or this is going on over there in Africa. I mean, this was happening when his father was in charge. And my wife, listen, my wife can, she's pissed off because I posted pictures.
Your ex-girlfriend as well.
What's that?
Your ex, among others. It's not just your ex-wife.
Do you feel like that's what the FBI is investigating with him? The SMEX trafficking?
I bet you that's part of it.
Yeah, I have a big feeling that is.
Did they go to Epstein Island on his plane? That is a real question. I'm not joking around.
What was the question?
Never mind. Never mind. I do have a huge question though. The statute of limitations is endless for reporting what's going on in that church. You do know that.
Right.
Okay, so why can't you put on your big boy pants, go to the proper authorities and report them. If you want justice for Micah, this is part of it if you really think about it. Number one. Number two, DV is not just physical, it's mental, it's emotional, it's everything.
Everything that I shared on that wheel, I totally
Exactly. Okay. Now my question to you is,
was my conduct good in that conversation that you're listening to? Absolutely not.
exactly, it wasn't, and let me just put it this way.
But I was set up for that recording.
You were set up. Okay, that's fine. Hey,
well,
you were
listen,
set up. That's
I
cool
was-
with me.
Okay,
My
let me
next
finish.
question is, when you were incarcerated,
Let me finish, please.
oh, okay.
I was set up for that recording. She pushed every button prior to that, and then went and got the phone and recorded my responses to all the shit that she said prior to that. Okay.
Okay.
So that's why I was upset, and that's why it looks bad, because she set me up and did the recording.
All right.
Thomas, were you
So
abused?
Thomas,
Bob?
sorry, I just have a question. What have you done to change? You said that's your past. So what have you done?
What did I do? Okay, I accepted things that I couldn't feel I could fight in court, because the accusations were pretty serious. I didn't have the money to fight, and worked something out with the state's attorneys, and just got out of the situation, because it did sound bad. But like JP said, where I'm from, if you just put it in a statement, you're getting a restraining order. You're going to get one.
Yeah.
Anything that's said in there, you got to disprove. Okay. So when people are pissed off, you got it, but you got to write in there, no, you're in fear for bodily, that you're in fear for your life. So
Okay.
if they put that in there,
Yeah, but what have you done to try to
well, I'll tell you what I did.
to change?
I'll tell you what I did do. I went through every program and learned all about domestic violence. I went through all the programs, actually, and successfully completed those programs and learned about domestic violence. But it goes both ways. So when the laws do get changed,
Oh, I agree. I mean, it can go both ways. I agree with that.
I
But
took all the domestic classes, every single one of them, and I actually got awards for some of them.
have you ever actually apologized to these
that's
people that you have done this to?
Yeah, yes. Yeah, I mean, that's part of the recovery. Yeah, that's part of going through the process, and that's part of the programs that they put it in place. And I think that they should put them in South Carolina. Yeah.
I'm proud of you, Thomas, for that.
Listen. I had probation officers. They actually had me lead some of the classes because I was one of the standout people in the classes. Listen, unfortunately, I got accused of stuff that I couldn't defend. Okay, because I'm a good-looking guy. I had jealous girlfriends. Control tactics to try to keep me in the relationships.
Also the first step is to admit that you made mistakes.
I made mistakes. Yes, I did.
And there's nothing wrong with you admitting that you made mistakes, but you admitting is a big step.
Listen, why do you think I'm single? If I was such an abuser, I'd be out trying to find other. I'm so happy being alone. I don't have.
I didn't call you anything. I'm just
listen. I'm single, and I plan on staying that way, because I've learned the red flags. I mean, I've had ex-girlfriends try to commit suicide because I tried to leave them, and they did that to try to keep me in the relationship. I mean, I could tell you stories after stories, and I actually went back because I felt bad. She drew me back into the relationship. And then when I find, it wasn't, there was a lot of red flags, and I wanted to leave, and I felt trapped in this relationship. So.
Hey, Thomas. A quick question real fast.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, so, someone had asked you questions about things pertaining to your time at the church and what you knew and didn't know what was going on. You used answers such as probably, I think. Okay, why don't you, I would just suggest, can you give us a I don't know, yes or no answer? Because probably or maybe or I think, that's really unclear. And if you're truly in it to get justice for all of these situations going on, the domestic violence, the essay, all of that, and you really want to bring down the people who are doing things that are wrong, the probablys aren't cutting it. We need yes, no, I don't know answers. So can you clarify on that?
What question are you asking me? You're
Well,
telling me not to use probablys or whatever. What's the question?
well, someone asked you about the trafficking. Was there trafficking involved in the church?
Well, I'm going to say no then, because I don't have firsthand knowledge of that, but I suspect that probably is happening. So, but you don't want me to use probably.
Okay, so that would be a I don't know. Okay.
Well, it would be a no. I mean, I physically don't have facts that that's happening.
Okay.
Let me come down.
Can I ask you a question really quick? I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go.
Thomas, what is your motive in the Justice for Micah case? Like, you say that you're for Micah, right? But all of these things are coming out about you, and all I hear you doing is making speculations on what has happened in the church without presenting real facts. I'm not trying to come for you, sir, so please don't think I am. But with your history of domestic violence, what is your motive in this case? Because it has been rumored that you're trying to take a certain person down because the church didn't pay you.
No,
What you felt
that's got
was
nothing to
needed.
do with it.
Okay, so what is your motive in this case? In Justice for Micah, what is your motive?
Exactly saying justice for Micah.
Okay.
That's it. I'm not looking to hurt anybody. I'm just sharing the truth that I know, and letting people know what I know. That's it. I mean, I'm not after JP. He's got a lot of good qualities, but you know, Micah's not here, and you know, he didn't learn from the 2015 incident. I mean, I've learned my lessons and the mistakes I've made in my past.
So, Thomas, I'm sure there's things on here that you can't speak of, and that's understandable. But if you do have things that would help get justice for Micah, you need to go to the right people.
And I have.
Didn't you say from the start, Thomas, that your goal here you weren't so concerned about how and specifics on the death of Micah, but that your goal was to bring the church down and bring JP down? So why is it changing
You know,
now?
you're saying bring him down. I may have said that, but I
You
mean,
did say that. I have a recording of it, but yeah, you did say it.
well, he needs to be stopped. I mean, this has gone on since 1970, and they haven't paid any price or any responsibility for that. You know, my past, I paid the price, and I've paid the penalties. Okay, and I learned my lesson. You know, you're listening to recordings that I was set up. Okay, so she pissed me off. She went and got her phone, and then she got the response. Okay, but it goes both ways.
Sir, I'm going to stop you right there. What you're saying, sir, is not what she asked you. You're bringing up something else, and we're asking you for one specific thing.
I'm not trying
to You can't own your past in one breath and in the next breath defend it and point the finger back at the people who accused you. I'm not in the beginning when let me finish please. In the beginning when you got on my live, you were deflecting and pointing the finger back at your ex-wife and saying that none of that was even true. Now you switched your story and now you're saying you own. Can I finish please? Now you switched your story and now you're saying I've owned that. I was rehabilitated. I did all these things. But then in the same breath, you point your finger back at your ex-wife as if you're deflecting and not taking accountability, which is
I don't even know why my ex-wife's upset. I mean, I just shared some photos.
It's not just your ex-wife. It's your ex-wife. It's your ex-girlfriend, and it's
what ex-girlfriend? What ex-girlfriend?
Your ex-stepchildren.
My ex-stepchildren. Okay, well.
Okay, sir.
Do I need? You know, they're upset because I shared a relationship of what we had at the church. Okay, and the only way to prove who I was, people were asking me to share those photos. So they're airing out all this dirt because I shared some family photos.
Okay, sir.
More than that, that's also again deflecting your responsibility in your past and pointing it back on them.
Listen, my responsibility. I just told you. I paid
You
my
said a
price.
lot of different things. So I'm trying to narrow it down to what is actually the truth.
You're
Exactly, because
you're
this
getting
is
the
really confusing
Yeah.
because he's saying one thing 1 second
One
and then
second and
another
a
thing the
different
other
thing
second.
another.
So I'm going to go back to my original question, sir. What is your motive in this Justice for Micah case? Because you have been caught on recording saying that you want to take JP down. So what is your motive in this Justice for Micah case?
Okay, well, seeing how you're so clear about how you're stating that I want to take
Don't mock me,
John
sir,
Paul.
please.
Well, but you're saying I want to take John Paul down. I'm just sharing
Those
the
were
truth.
your words, sir.
You said
Your
that.
words.
My words are I think that the church needs to be dissolved and he needs to be off the pulpit. That's what I'm saying. I never said he needs to be taken down in that kind of tone.
Hmm.
Play the
Motley,
recording.
can
You
you
got
send
it.
me the
Play
screen recording, please?
play the recording.
Yeah, Motley, can you play the recording? Do you have it accessible?
Yeah, let me charge my iPad. It's out of battery right now, so let me charge it up.
I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be mean to you, sir. I just want to get down to the bottom of this
But I don't
because
think
I
said it
wholeheartedly, let me finish, please.
Okay,
I
well,
wholeheartedly feel like you're in this for the wrong reasons. And when people try to hold you accountable, you want to push the blame on other people. These are your words. What you have said to this woman is you talking. It doesn't matter if you were pushed or if you were egged on. You are an adult. You are responsible for your words. It doesn't matter what anyone else does or says to you, sir. You are responsible for your actions. And
yeah.
your actions were in the wrong, and you're not taking responsibility for that. You keep saying, she pushed me. She pushed me.
I said that I take responsibility for using foul language in that conversation. I shouldn't have done it. You're absolutely correct.
But you also said that you took responsibility for domestic violence and the issues in your past. So are you now saying that you take that back and you are not taking?
How many times do you want me to say that, Cassie? How many times
My
do you
name is
need to hear
Casey.
that?
It's not Cassie. My name is Casey.
Well, Casey. Okay. Well, thank you for clarifying that, Casey. Okay. How many times? How many times do you want me to admit to that? How many times?
You keep contradicting yourself. You say one thing 1 second and you say something different the next.
Okay.
Thomas, I think where the confusion is and some reasons that we might be a little upset is because you say, oh, I take responsibility for that, but, and then you go say all the reasons why you did it. And that's not fully taking responsibility for your actions and being, taking responsibility like I was wrong, period.
I'm on trial again, and I've already paid the price here. You guys are just getting wind of this. You don't know the true facts of what's going on in the relationship. You have none of that. You have none of that.
But wait. No one's on trial here. You got up on panel on your own accord. You got up here and you agreed to ask or answer questions on your own accord. Nobody put your hands behind your back and put you up on this panel. Nobody did that. You got up here on your own accord. You didn't have to do that. You did that. You made that choice. Don't put that on anybody else.
So let's just put men in their place. Is that what this is all about in here?
Well, let's not do that.
That's called gaslighting, sir. And what you're doing right now
Oh,
is
there's
basically
one
abusing.
guy in here, and I've got I'm surrounded by females for domestic violence.
Would you like for me to go get my husband to stand in here for you?
No, and I think that you're.
Would you like for me to call the other men that are in here?
You don't want to listen to any facts. I'm just a bad guy. I know.
No, nobody said you were a guy. We've given you a platform to defend yourself.
I did some horrible
You're
things.
contradicting yourself left and right.
And try to make me look bad.
Sir, you're gaslighting. You're gaslighting right now, and I think you should stop before you dig yourself a bigger hole. We are not attacking you. We want to understand you. But what you are saying 1 second is confusing because the next second it's different.
And can I just say, so I'm gonna just say this. So I was on the phone with Thomas beforehand. I've spoken with him a bunch. I will say I had no idea about that recording or the history, so I'm a little bit in shock right now. That's a conversation that I will probably have with him and ask off the app. I think I'm not defending one person or another right now. Like I said, I'm kind of in shock right now with all of this. I had no idea, but I think part of it too is that, like I said, I'm not trying to defend one person or another, but I think in regards to the church questions, sorry, I'm trying to process through, I'm putting word things. In regards to that, I think, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe how, were you like one of the people that got a lot of the info? Like one of his super close circles? I know you said you were a head usher, right? Or what was it? Sorry. Thomas, sorry. What was your role in the church? Sorry.
I was the head usher for the noon service.
Okay. How oft, and I will say this from my conversations with him, he didn't seem to have a lot of info on JP. Okay. I've spoken with, and I'm not defending anyone or anything right now, but how often and how involved were you with people that were part of his close circle, like the other pastor that filled in for him, or Charles Randall, or anyone like that?
Not at all. I wasn't that. I wasn't in the back room with the head people there.
Okay. And so I'm guessing that's why it's probably, I'm not trying to put, is it hard to answer questions on that because you genuinely probably don't know, but maybe had an idea, but you didn't have confirmation?
Well, absolutely. I mean, there's there's higher up members than me. I was just an usher there, so all I can share know and what was told out of off through him telling me himself.
Yeah, and
had people talking to me about some of the stuff, but I wasn't. I don't have the knowledge behind that door where they're controlling money or any of that stuff.
Okay, that's what I was, from my conversations with Thomas, I'll say that's what I gathered, is that he didn't have a lot of info that way. I know I personally spoke and asked more so info about the dynamics between everyone in the family and the church. Like I said, guys, I'm caught off guard right now, so please excuse what I'm asking. But I'm guessing, I'm not trying to speak for him, I'm guessing that's why is it hard? To me, it sounded like it's hard to speak and answer those questions super directly, because at least from my conversations with him, I didn't think he was that deep into it. I'm not trying to make it a defense for anyone. I'm just saying, like, that was what I gathered. I probably spoke with him for hours prior to this. And like I said, this is the first I heard about it. So
I just want to say that I did not show this information to bash anyone. I am giving a voice to your ex-wife, your ex-girlfriend, and your ex-family. With that being said, I do appreciate you coming on here and giving, I guess, your side of it. And I just hope and pray that tonight when you get off of this live, that you take a little while to really think about if it was you, wouldn't you want anything and everything to be cleared? Would you not, like, if that was your daughter, would you not want to give that person a voice and to be able to speak out? And all I've tried to do is give you a platform to defend yourself and to speak up against these accusations. And I hope you realize where my intentions are is not to attack you, but it is to bring out these things and bring a voice to certain people who don't feel comfortable coming public.
Well, I think that if anybody's in a domestic situation, that they should come public. I've got nothing to hide. You got my name, and got my record. Okay, but that's not why I'm here. That's not why I'm sharing the information that I know about the church. I've took responsibility for whatever happened in my past, and I learned my lesson. Did I overreact in that phone call? Absolutely. Totally lost my mind basically there. But I didn't physically abuse my wife. I didn't throw her around. I didn't, I said some choice words, and that's abuse too. And I do understand that. That's all form of abuse. Okay. I'm not proud of it. I'm not proud of it at all. But there's two people in the relationship, and it was going both ways. but I'm not going to air out or try to destroy her in any way, shape, or form to try to counter any of the stuff that you're putting out there, because that's not going to fix nothing.
I want to speak just so I can step down, but first I want to say, a couple things first. First of all, Thomas, thank you for getting on the panel and allowing us to ask questions. There's a lot of people in the chat that's been questioning why we're doing this to you, but just so everybody is aware, Thomas came on the chat himself. I mean, he came in here himself. He had the opportunity to leave, and he got on the panel and was open to us asking questions. So first of all, Thomas, thank you for that. And just so everybody in the comments can understand, this was a choice he made. The second thing I want to say is, Thomas, I am a domestic violence survivor, and it was very triggering for me in the beginning listening to the comments that you made to the ex-wife. I've heard those types of no, let me. I'm being respectful.
Okay,
So let me finish what I need to say.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It was very triggering. I've been in that person's shoes. I also know there's two sides to the story. And I do know that people can escalate each other to that point. Still doesn't make it right. And I want to make my comment more to the people who were in the chat defending you, because those are the comments that were being made. And I don't like the people that people yelled at you, but the comments that were being made in the chat, just so everybody's aware, that's why victims do not come forward. I was divorced 23 years ago, and I've still not fully told my story in any public platform. I was divorced 23 years ago, and I've still not fully told my story in any public platform, because people like the ones defending the actions that were made in the past, Thomas, I know it was in the past, but the ones that were defending it are the reason we don't come forward, because we don't feel like it's a safe place to do that.
And that's sad. That is sad. And I agree with you on that 100%. And I didn't ask anybody to defend me. Okay.
Yes, I know.
And I didn't come on here thinking that, hey, I'm trying to be some kind of hero here. I'm just sharing what happened at the church. And I know that I was taking a risk of people digging into my past or whatever. But, it hurts me that you don't know all the facts of what happened. But I'm not this terrible guy that's going around beating up women. Okay. I totally take full responsibility for that phone call or that voice recording that you're listening to. I shouldn't have acted that way. What was going on in the situation at that time? Every button that I had was pushed. Okay. That's what happened. I mean, it wasn't just, that's the way I spoke to her every day, because that's not the case.
And I understand that. And I appreciate you for saying that you've gone to the domestic violence classes and that you've tried to make a change. And I have been one of the people who, I've seen some of the lives or some of your videos where you've talked about giving up on this justice for Micah because of the hate that you've been getting. And I mean, to me, I feel like every single person in Micah's army is an extra person fighting. So I don't want you to give up, even though we're questioning you on your past behavior. And I do believe people can change.
I want South Carolina to put in place those types of counseling things on top of that Micah law. I mean, because they wanted me to teach the classes when I finished. These people, they weren't praising me for any of the stuff that happened or what was said in the affidavits or any of that stuff. But they saw that I took a big interest in it, and that I was true in what I was doing, in those classes.
And this is, like I said, I'm still trying to figure everything out. But for the people telling them to tell all about the church throughout for a while now, I never got that he had that information. And I could be off, but I never got the impression that he was that close to have information like that. And I'm literally trying to piece this together, and we'll speak off the app too to figure it out. But I just want to say too, females can also gaslight, and I'm not saying that's what I don't know the situation or anything. I was in shock, literally was on the phone with him prior to this and had no idea about any of this. I didn't know, and maybe that's on me for not asking certain questions or looking into backgrounds. but
Absolutely. I work in the mental health field and I see it both ways. Like it is not just men, it is both, and you can definitely escalate each other.
And I hope that they're fair about making this law, because there is men out there as well, and I'm not going to try to. I don't want to make this sound like I wasn't participating in what happened back then, because obviously it's about me, but and I'm not even going to try to justify it, because it is what it is. I paid the price. I learned my lesson, and I haven't had any incidences for 20 years. Yes, that phone call recording that you're listening to is absolutely the worst thing that I could ever have being played on here. Absolutely, I agree. It looks and sounds bad, but you don't know what happened prior to that. I was set up in that recording. I can tell you that much. Okay.
Doesn't matter though. It doesn't.
know.
Respectfully,
I
it
know.
doesn't matter. Respectfully,
well.
Thomas, it simply does not matter. No one, no human, male or female, deserves to
Well,
be
it kind of
spoken
does
to
matter,
like that.
because Micah was put in that same corner. Every one of her buttons were pushed,
It
and she
doesn't matter.
felt
We're not talking about that
like
right
she
now. But we're
couldn't get
talking
help.
about you,
I
and
know,
that's
but
not okay. It's
I
not.
know, but when you push somebody in a corner like that, you
Well,
don't know
that's a
what it
personal
means.
problem for you. Then you should go seek help for that. That's not. I mean,
I did get
just
help for that.
because
I'm divorced, and I'm not in that situation anymore.
well,
And I'm very
good, because she shouldn't have to deal with that.
Yeah.
That's good.
I think, Thomas, when you keep focusing on it, that's when it makes it hard for us to believe.
I get it, but my feeling, I am a human being, and I'm kind of hurt about it. Okay, I just tried to share about what's going on at the church. Okay, and I'm
Well, I have
sorry.
a question
And
actually about the
I took
church.
down the pictures. Okay.
So, and that leads to my question. Then I'll come down off the panel. But my question, there is a lady in the chat, Lady Trey Saves the Day. She's made comments several times about the environment being cult in the church, and that you had to go through these. I think she had mentioned, I've not gone back, but like weekly sessions with JP. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, the marriage counseling, or the marriage classes that they were doing there. He had several different or programs, and a lot of it was based on relationships. There was a marriage one, there was something else, and another one, and another one. And he made certain CD packs for each one of those. And me and my wife got involved in the marriage one because there was some strife going on with the church, and that's kind of where our breakdown started with our relationship, was the church, because I didn't like JP, and she did, and I'm like, I don't want to go there anymore, and she did, and that was the start of the breakdown. So in those classes, you would get these CD packs. You'd have to go home and listen to them, and then after listening to a certain series of the CD pack, you would stop the CD, and then you would have a conversation back and forth with your partner, and try to work through those things. And then you would go to the next CD, and then you would talk about that, and then see where you get with that. And did you resolve any of those issues with that certain thing that was going on in the relationship, or what you thought about that series of that CD? And then when you got done with that, you'd go back to the church, and you'd have a meeting there, and everything that's discussed in private was discussed openly, and more than likely getting back to JP about what's going on in the relationship. So he knows exactly what's going on with each couple there, of anything that's they're struggling with in their marriages. And I think that he was using it against people to try to control how they operated in the church. It was kind of like an informational thing, is kind of the way it turned out. And then he hired a personal counselor to go speak to after the series was done, that to try to work through some issues that was going on with the church. And I didn't find that to be very helpful, and it felt like she was just gathering information to share back with JP and the other members of the church.
Thomas,
Go ahead.
I just want to say two quick things. One, I am a former social worker with child abuse and neglect, and I just want to tell you, if you have
any information that children were essayed in that church, you have got to go forward.
Well, I've had people reach out to me and tell me, sending me messages that, he had sexual intercourse over on Forest Brook Road, and the bass player there saw what was happening and ignored it.
Well,
And-
you can do, just so you know, you can do a anonymous reporting. You don't have to give your name. You don't have to give anything. You can type up everything that you know. If you know dates, if you know addresses, if you know names, anything, and you can be done completely anonymous. And I'm happy to get you in contact, or you can send it to me and I'll send it. I have those resources that I can do that in South Carolina as well. Also, back to the DV. Just remember, when you get that mad next time, if there is a next time, that's somebody's daughter. That could be your daughter. And you just need to stop and walk away and think about that, because I'm sure if you are a father and someone spoke to your daughter the way you spoke to your ex-wife, no matter what she did, it doesn't matter, you would be furious. And just remember that in the back of your mind next time that happens. Right or wrong, should she have recorded you? That was wrong, but she did it. But you should never say anything that you don't want the world to hear, because you never know these days when it is being recorded.
Well, and I'll agree with you that, and I also agree with you on walking away. And that's what I was doing. I was actually removing myself to another room, and she followed me around. So,
gotcha.
I know better to remove myself from the situation, but when they follow you into the room and continue on to get you flared up, I mean,
yes.
Other than getting in my car and driving away.
And sometimes that's what you have to do. I had to do that when I was in a bad situation. Yeah, you got to get in the car and just go. Spend the night with a friend and wait till the next morning once tempers have calmed.
I totally agree with you.
I have a question, sorry, and you don't have to answer. Cassie, I think it's kind of more to you. Do you have any more? I'm not asking you to play it or even confirm, but is there any more to the recording where is the recording that you were given just him?
You're muted, Cass.
You can hear her in it as well, and I have 3 of them.
Okay.
Just to clarify.
Can I?
No, like I said, I jumped in late, so.
Sorry, Colin. Sorry, baby. I'm just coming in and I have no clue. I've been with my sister-in-law tonight and I have no clue what's going on. Just context of a couple of text messages that have been sent to me. I'm not going to pretend like I know what's going on at all. But Thomas, if you're not comfortable, and Cassie, this is no disrespect to you or anybody on this panel or anybody in the chat, but Thomas,
he came up here on his own and he's answered questions.
Yeah, and I agree, but and I don't know that, but I like I said, I don't know what's going on. I just, from what I've been messaged, I don't know what's going on, and I'm not gonna come in here and pretend like I do, but is this what we need to be doing right now? We have somebody that's trying to divide all of us in every aspect of the real people, like Cassie, like me, like Kylan, like Thomas, like everybody on this panel, from being who we are.
This is, I'm not trying to interrupt. That has nothing to do with any of this right now. I know Cassie said that
I got thousands of people wanting to bring me on alive. Oh boy.
Yeah, this is
Victoria. I didn't ask you if it was my platform. I'm talking to Cassie, and Cassie let me on her platform. So Victoria, I'm sorry, but go ahead. I'm sorry, Cassie. Go ahead, Kylan.
Oh, I was just saying this is completely separate, and like I said, I like information and facts. I'm just trying to get it. He did come up here on his own. He answered questions. He had, as someone who also has gone through a situation of DV, it's obviously, I didn't know about any of this, but at the same time, and I still don't have the whole picture, I do know, for instance, I'm not trying to defend anyone in one way. I've spoken with Thomas. We don't agree on stuff a lot of times on a lot of things. And I've probably raised my voice and he hasn't. And I'm just saying if that speaks to him changing behavior. I don't know. I'm not trying to defend anyone. I'm just trying to piece everything together right now. I'm sorry.
I'm glad that you're on here, Colin, because I think that you can kind of sort through the bullshit and all that. And I'm glad Cassie is allowing me to be on here, Victoria. Whoever Victoria is, I'm sorry. I don't mean to slam anybody, Cassie, on your live. I just want to make sure that we all are aware that we're all on the same team. And, you know, I don't know what's going on, and I'm not going to even.
Absolutely. If it was to risk my my background to get justice for Micah, that's why I'm doing it. That's
Good.
why I'm
I'm glad
speaking
you're
out,
here.
because I don't care what
What
you dig up on me.
what
That's
better?
not what this is about.
Listen, Thomas. What better of a safer place than on Cassie's panel to do that on?
Well, I mean, I don't dislike her. I'm not angry at Cassie.
Well, what's there to dislike about Cassie? You know,
It's Casey.
It's Casey, guys.
Some people find a lot of reasons.
Listen, I'm sorry.
Shit,
But
Casey.
listen,
Shit,
you know, listen, you know. So I mean, we've all made
Sorry,
mistakes.
Casey.
We've all made mistakes in our lives, and I'm not trying to justify or deny or blame or do any of that stuff. Okay, because that's all part of it, and that's all part of the stuff I learned.
I just don't want what has been said to tear us each other, because there's been a lot of shit that's
If everybody
gone on.
wants me to back off and not help, then I
No,
can.
I'm not saying that.
What I'm
just
saying, this isn't Misty. I don't mean to interrupt you. This has nothing to do with that. As people that know me too, I have friends and people that I talk with and people that I'm close with off the app and on the app. But I don't run with a group. I make my own decisions. I figure out, like, get the info. Like, I do my own thing. So it's not about tearing people apart or anything like that.
Are you sure, Colin? I'm not your leader.
But what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to counter this by bashing my ex-wife. So
I understand that, and I still don't even know what's going on. I just want us all to be together, you know, and to do this together. And Colin knows what I'm talking about, you know.
I mean, I don't really, because I think this is a completely different situation. I mean, this is so unrelated. I was on the phone with Thomas, and then
Hold on, Thomas. Let Colin speak, please. Hold on, baby.
I was talking with Thomas prior to this. He got a phone call or something. I didn't know what it was. I guarantee it was probably this. I am here just to listen and figure things out, and I will have a conversation with him off the app after and figure things out. I'm not, like, this isn't drama or related to anything else, just for anyone here.
Okay, that's what I was making sure, because there is no way that we should ever allow.
I'm trying to be really respectful, Misty. I don't think that type of stuff should be brought up in this particular panel about DV, and also someone who was, I'm gonna say Thomas was brave enough to come up here. That I didn't know that he would do that, but he did.
See, I don't even know what DV y'all are talking about. All I did was get a text message that things were going down.
Listen, can I say something? I already knew that this was in the works. If I didn't take stuff down, that they were going to try to destroy me on TikTok. Okay? I was already warned about it, so this isn't a surprise to me. Okay? But that's not the focus here. The focus is I'm looking for the same thing you guys are looking for. South Carolina needs to have better things in place for domestic violence, females and men. Okay, it's got to be fair, because there is men out there that have jealous girlfriends that stalk them around, and they go to get help and they can't get help. And so it needs to be fair when they do make that law, that both sexes can go and get some help if they need it. So I just don't want it to be over one side, lopsided, where it's both parties can get help if they need it.
Okay, so obviously I was unaware of what was going on, and I think Colin and Cassie and everybody else on the panel has it under control. I was completely confused about what was going on, and Victoria, maybe you're right. This isn't my, whatever. But Cassie, thank you for letting me come up. I love you, Chip. Casey, shit. Why do I say Cassie? Because
All right,
one of
well,
my best
hopefully
friends
we're
is
still on
Cassie.
the same team. I mean, just
Thanks for
credit.
coming over and checking it out, making sure
We're
we was
all
good.
we're all on the same team.
I'm done.
We are.
Is
We're
everybody
on
done
purpose,
asking
sweetie.
questions to me? I'm done. I'm out.
I just want you to know, Thomas, that I wanted to be able to give you the opportunity to speak and defend yourself. And I hope that
I knew this was coming out.
I hope that you know that my intentions are good and I don't have any reason to come after you or anyone else. But I will always give a voice to anybody who needs a voice.
Thank you, Casey. Cassie.
Well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure we're giving the voice to the right person here. I mean, the voice needs to be heard for Micah, not my ex-wife. I mean,
This isn't about Micah. This is about you.
oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm late to the game here, but I just wanted to say, Thomas, don't give up fighting for
Well,
Micah.
I mean, I really feel like I want to. I mean, I knew this was. I mean, she already gave me a nasty text. Okay, take the pictures down, or I'm going to smear your name all over this TikTok. So what is that? How is that helping, Micah?
It's not, but just don't give up. I watch your lives when you go to the protest in the morning and stuff. So
I'm not
just
going there. I'm pretty much done. I mean, there's men out there that have jealous girlfriends that stalk them around, and they go to get help and they can't get help. And so it needs to be fair when they do make that law that both sexes can go and get some help if they need it. So I just don't want it to be over one side, lopsided where it's both parties can get help if they need it.
Okay, so obviously I was unaware of what was going on, and I think Colin and Cassie and everybody else on the panel has it under control. I was completely confused about what was going on, and Victoria, maybe you're right. This isn't my, whatever. But Cassie, thank you for letting me come up. I love you, Chip. Casey, shit. Why do I say Cassie? Because
All right,
one of
well,
my best
hopefully
friends
we're
is
still on
Cassie.
the same team. I mean, just
Thanks for
credit.
coming over and checking it out, making sure
We're
we was
all
good.
we're all on the same team.
I'm done.
We are.
Is
We're
everybody
on
done
purpose,
asking
sweetie.
questions to me? I'm done. I'm out.
I just want you to know, Thomas, that I wanted to be able to give you the opportunity to speak and defend yourself. And I hope that
I knew this was coming out.
I hope that you know that my intentions are good and I don't have any reason to come after you or anyone else. But I will always give a voice to anybody who needs a voice.
Thank you, Casey. Cassie.
Well, I'm not
Casey.
sure. I'm not sure we're giving the voice to the right person here. I mean, the voice needs to be heard for Micah, not my ex-wife. I mean,
This isn't about Micah. This is about you.
oh, okay. Yeah.
okay. Well, I'm late to the game here, but I just wanted to say, Thomas, don't give up fighting for
Well,
Micah.
I mean, I really feel like I want to. I mean, I knew this was. I mean, she already gave me a nasty text. Okay, take the pictures down, or I'm going to smear your name all over this TikTok. So what is that? How is that helping, Micah?
It's not, but just don't give up. I watch your lives when you go to the protest in the morning and stuff. So
I'm not
just
going there. I'm pretty much done. I mean, this, and I'm only on here to try to help Micah and her family.
okay. Well,
So
we'll keep praying. And
I'm kind of done, and I'm hurt actually because I paid my prices. I learned my lessons, and was that with those recordings? They're bad. I get it. I get it. That's why I'm divorced and I'm single. I'm so much happier. So much happier. I'm not out trying to find another girl. I've been single since 2014. I didn't run to another girl, and I've had acquaintances and girlfriends, but I'm not. I'm really careful about because I don't need to be in these situations, and you know, I don't know what else to say. I'm completely satisfied of being alone and not being in that stuff. And there's a lot of stuff, and I'm not going to share it with you. I mean, I could sit here and try to back all this stuff up and make her look bad, and I'm not going to do that. Not going to do it. Not going to do it. I'm not going to trash on her kids. Not going to trash on her. I've moved on out of that relationship. I lost a lot of stuff. You know, and it hurts that, you know, she's living in the house that I paid for with a boyfriend. You know, that bothers me, but I'm over it. And this is just bringing up bad seeds again. But anyways, my name's right there. Any one of you could have looked up stuff if you really wanted to dig. But having it smeared on here and trying to take the focus off Micah, I'm disappointed.
Again, this platform, my platform, does not only strictly revolve around justice for Micah. It is also justice for other DV victims.
I totally understand that, Cassie.
Okay.
And I'm not bashing you for doing what you're doing. I understand where you stand on this stuff, and I'm behind you.
I appreciate it.
I'm behind you on this. I'm not an enemy. I want you guys to get
Well, I
justice.
hope you know I'm not your enemy either.
Listen. I personally wouldn't have put that out there if I were in your shoes, because it's taken the.
This is not only about Micah. This is also about other DV victims. And if I have DV victims come to me with information and want to speak out about it, I will give them a voice.
Okay, well, that's your prerogative, I guess. Mm-hmm. All right, well, I'm done. You guys. All right, bye.
I'm gonna hop off. Thank you for having me up here. Like I said, I came partway through, and yeah, thank you for having me up here. Thank you for letting people speak, Casey. I appreciate it. And
You're welcome.
Night.
Night.
Okay, well, I was late to the ball game, so I don't even know not anything of what that was about. But I wanted to tell you that on YouTube, on Hidden True Crime, they did a thing about Micah tonight, and then they do the big cases and stuff, and her husband is a psychologist, or a forensic I'm not sure what he is. His name is John. She said in the next few days he's going to be going over a bunch of stuff dealing with that, and she said there's a lot of stuff, so they're pretty reputable if y'all want to give them a listen to. I don't know if y'all know who I'm talking about, but it's called Hidden True Crime. And the lady's name is Lauren, and the man's name is John. That's her husband. And so, I mean, they did a thing about Gypsy Rose and about all that stuff out there, and the Daybell stuff, and Lori, whatever her name is. So they're pretty interesting to listen to if you want to. Also, did you watch that video? I think it's a lady, I think she had a German accent. Oh, what was it called? Crime and Justice, the YouTube. And she was talking about the stuff at the gas station and how she thinks that those two of the vehicles that were at the pawn shop were at the gas station. So as she went through it, did you see that? She was talking about the porta potty, how when she went into the porta potty, the door was cracked open a little bit when she got there, but it closed completely. And most porta potties close completely because of the spring on the door. I mean, there's some of the things that she said that I'm like, no, I don't agree with that, but